What is going on, YouTube? Mr. Boom here with a new video. Last night I went by a local shop that has an all-wheel drive dyno and met with a calibrator, somebody very knowledgeable when it comes to tuning the EcoBoost platform. He has a Maverick on order and wanted to see what he could make happen with the Maverick. And if anybody knows me in the F-150 world, they know that I've let multiple shops use my vehicles for pretty much whatever they've wanted, whether it be to develop a turbo kit or suspension kits or whatever. I don't mind being a test dummy. I'm fortunate enough to have a couple vehicles, so downtime with one vehicle is usually not an issue. And he shot me a text message and said that, hey, we want to throw your truck on the dyno and see what we can do with it. So I was like, sure, why not? Let's see what we can do. So after his day job closed up and he was done for the day, I swung by the shop. We threw her on the rollers and got some good baseline numbers and managed to squeeze out a good bit of power with nothing more than some clicks of the mouse and that's it. No extra parts, nothing else was added. It was the stock calibration to some slight changes. We're on 93 octane, so this will be for 93 octane numbers. Obviously 87 octane is probably going to yield a little bit lower. He's going to be out of town the next few days. Once he gets back, we're going to meet back up and see if we can squeeze a little bit more out of it. He seems pretty confident that we can. And once we've done some 93 octane and kind of maxed out what we can get with 93, then he said that he's probably going to want to see what we can do with E30, which is a mixture of E85 and 93 octane. With the Maverick, it's roughly 4 gallons of E and 12 gallons of 93. So that's exciting. I will say that I was pleasantly surprised with what we were able to accomplish last night as far as power numbers. I will let you guys see in the video what the final numbers were, but let's just say they were pretty stout for what was done. This was not associated with any businesses or anything like that. This is something separate that Sam just wanted to do on his own for potential future business endeavors. That said, there's no guarantee or anything set in stone that this will be something that he offers in the future. But it's promising, and we'll go from there. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. There's going to be some more content coming as far as tuning and performance mods. Hit the like button or dislike, either one. They both help with the algorithm regardless. I prefer likes. And if you're subscribed to the channel and don't have the bell button turned on, make sure you hit the bell button as well. That way you get notifications for new videos. So without further ado, here is my trip last night to the dyno shop. Alrighty guys, Sam got everything hooked up to the computer, got all the information he needed. Dyno is empty, and he is about to pull her in. So, we're going to get some baseline numbers, and excited to see what she makes based off of Ford's numbers as well. So it's going on a month. It is a all-wheel drive dyno. So yeah, going to get her on the dyno, get her strapped down, and see what we can come up with. Strapping her down now.
Get the fan off just for this real quick.
Okay. Just going to make sure everything's squared away, it's strapped down well. Not making any pulls just yet, but going to get her ready. It is. I'm gonna step back out of the way. That way I'm not in any danger. Oh, she's spinning. Pros of it being on a Mustang dyno is you can hear that load that it gives to it, so a little more real world. Power numbers are probably going to show a little bit lower because it is a Mustang dyno, but a little more realistic. So all looks good. Looks like he's messing with the chains, or the straps per se. So should be about time to make a pull. All right, so what he's doing now is going to see if there's a way that he can get the transmission to stay in gear. Since there's no manual mode on the Mavericks, obviously it's going to shift otherwise. So he's hooking up and seeing what he can come up with. Fingers crossed he's able to find a way to get it to stay in gear. I'm no expert when it comes to tuning, so I'm letting him do his thing, and I'm staying over here out of the way. Ready? He is getting everything loaded into the computer. You can hear we've got the fan going, and we're about to make the first pull, I think. So let me get out of the way. I don't think it did what he wanted to. Yeah, it's not doing what he wants it to.
Hold the gear.
Can't hold the gear?
It downshifted to third, so I gotta find it.
So it's not holding the gear. Still have to figure that out. So we'll see what we can come up with. We're gonna try it again, see if we can get it to hold gear. Focus. Still not wanting to hold gear.
So, and since this is an automatic, traditional, conventional, planetary automatic, the 1-to-1 gear ratio doesn't really
1-to-1 matter that much. It's that 1-to-1 ratio is mostly a thing for manual transmissions,
Yeah.
like older style ones, where that 1-to-1 would actually just lock the input and output shafts together, rather than going through, the gear sets which have parasitic loss.
Yeah.
So the goal was really just to avoid parasitic loss, but yeah. So the dyno measures the rollers themselves have a pretty significant mass, and by measuring the rate of change in the rate of acceleration with the known mass, you're able to calculate how much power is being applied to the wheels. And then using the RPM signal that it has, either from like an inductive coil sort of line or a spark plug wire, like an inductive doodad around a spark plug wire or something, or just what I'm doing with wheel speed, it back calculates how much torque it's making.
Yeah, it makes sense. I also like how it's 160 degrees. Not quite in hell.
Not quite. Hey, something like it hot. Texas is...
Yeah.
Not too much shit. I will need to start the poll. So it says right forth.
So, about to make another poll, see if she'll stay in gear.
No. God damn it.
Didn't stay in gear?
No.
Well, we tried. Keep trying. Oh, gonna try it again. Looks like it went a little higher in the RPMs that time.
Yeah, and it held forth.
Yeah, it made it up to what, 66?
I'm not sure on wheel speed, but we got it finally a clean looking power curve.
Yeah, see, there we go.
Let's clear up the rest of these.
Yeah, disregard 1 and 2 on the picture, guys.
Oops. Alright, yeah, so I had to roll into the throttle pretty slowly, so, could it hit peak torque a little bit earlier than it currently is, potentially.
And that was just to get it to 4th gear, right?
Right, to keep it from downshifting into 3rd.
Okay.
But yeah, peak numbers. 229 wheel horse, 271 wheel torque.
It's pretty solid, guys.
Yeah, peaking horsepower right around, call that 5,400 or so.
Yep.
And then a pretty precipitous drop off of power.
Yeah.
Pretty typical to see that. We'll see in the log what charge air temperature is looking like, how hot that intercooler's getting.
Yep.
We've got a pretty big fan here. It only ends up moving about 40 mile an hour of wind.
Yeah, and mind you guys, those numbers are on a Mustang dyno, which everybody knows are typically power robbers, based off of what the internet says. So on a dyno jet, probably another 20, give or take, on each of those. Obviously, it's hard to say, every dyno is different, and dyno numbers are kind of irrelevant. They're just for basically seeing what mods add and good baseline and go from their numbers.
A good before and after comparison.
Exactly. So that said, those numbers are still very good, and I want to say are pretty much what Ford rates them at from the factory, not wheel horsepower. So gonna see what we can come up with and go from there. All right, so we're gonna try this again, see if we'll keep it in 4th gear, add a little bit of boost, added a little more goodies. pull 2, take 2. Take 3.
Yeah.
It's cooled off a little bit outside, guys. It's only 158 now, not 160. So he's rolling into the throttle a little bit less now. She's not acting right. Try this again. Oh. There we go. See what she did.
All right, nice.
So, we'll see if I can zoom in.
I'm gonna pull that second one out of there because that is a messed up one.
See the difference in the charts right there.
So new totals are 236 and 290 wheel torque.
So we picked up a little bit of power and a little bit of torque with some minimal changes.
Yeah. Now, so our peaks are still happening relatively close to one another, around 5,500 RPM.
Yep.
But our difference up here,
it stays a little bit longer.
yeah, we're at 225 versus 190, so like a 35 horse difference up towards redline.
Yep.
Instead of power dropping off so hard. We still don't have a good monitor for charge air temperature, so it's unclear how much of a limitation the intercooler is, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Warm up a little bit, coolant temp wise. Do a pull for a sec.
Well, it's definitely cooling off outside. It's only 111 degrees now. We're down about 41 degrees.
Yeah, coolant temp's only 160 or so right now.
That's not bad, yeah.
Got that fan blowing on it. Sitting here for a while.
Yeah, and it's cooling off outside too.
Yeah, true. Let's see what intake air temp is. That's 75 degrees, so it's heat soaking a little bit under hood. It was 72 earlier, but that's really not bad. I'm sure that'll clear up here in a sec once we get a little more airflow through it.
Alrighty, so we're on the second round of changes. It looks like she revved back up into the 66s again. And then what'd you do as far as these changes?
So I was messing with the torque model, or not really torque model, but torque requests a little bit.
Okay.
It didn't have a ton of influence. So I'll have to look in the logs and see what was happening there. So I believe that was the most recent one. But let's see. 297 wheel torque. We're almost there.
We're almost there. We're almost there.
There's a little bit of a spike there, so not perfect. But let's go back into this log and see what else we can do here.
We're gonna see if we can break that 300 mark tonight.
Absolutely.
This is revision number 3.
Yeah.
And we're going to see if we can eclipse that 300 number, and then we'll let you know what changes were made. shifted a little earlier that time, but it looks like...
Definitely got 300 torque.
Yeah, definitely. And what did we do on this one?
Oh, it's 299.
Oh.
Fuck you. God damn it.
So close.
Yeah.
So close. It's because it shifted early.
Yeah, that's so strange that it did that. And when did it shift?
Well, we made $2.99 on that pass, guys. We're almost there. Righty, we are on revision 4. Made a few little tweaks and doodads. Let's see if we can't hit 300 pound-feet of torque. Revved a little higher that time.
Yeah.
Did we do it?
There we go.
There we go. See what she came out to this time. Definitely
308 wheel torque, 243 wheel horse.
So we're up about 15 horsepower from baseline and about 40 pound-feet of torque almost.
Yeah.
So not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
And what did you do that time?
So I think for that first pull that we did at the revision 4, either traction control kicked on,
Okay.
something was pissed. We were seeing torque reductions, throttle closures that I wouldn't have normally expected,
Okay.
or that were larger in magnitude than what I was expecting. And just doing the pull again, seems like whatever pissed it off that first time didn't.
So you just add more timing and adjust some
Oh.
torque settings, or?
Yeah, so I increased torque requests and a couple torque limits,
Okay.
and then added a little bit of timing. It seems like it's taken it perfectly fine.
Cool.
Getting not corrections, it looks like. So I'm gonna try adding a little bit more timing as well,
Okay.
and play with the current boost level that we're at, which seems pretty good.
And you said we're around how many pounds of boost?
Looks like that one spiked up to around like 22 peak.
Okay.
Yeah, around 4,600 RPM, which might be a little higher than we may want, but that's to be seen. To about 15, 16.
So we're averaging about 15 or so, and he said that it peaked, spiked around 22. I'm okay with that. I don't really care. Obviously, they're going to fine-tune everything, but we're going to keep giving her the beans and see what we can come up with tonight. I told him his time is as much as he wants, so I don't really care. We're going to see what kind of power we can make, but we hit that 300 number by a good bit, hit 308, and it sounds like there's a little more room to go. He's going to give it some more timing and mess with the torque curves a little bit more and see what we can do. Right, so we're on revision 5. The goal is hopefully 250 horsepower and 310, 315 pound-feet. And for it to not spin on the dyno. Didn't spin. Let's see what she did.
So I definitely rolled into her there.
Yep.
And, 247 wheel horse, and so 286 because I rolled into the into the throttle a little bit more to avoid the spinning. So let's compare that real quick.
Which torque down low is great. Obviously, we don't want it to spin.
So yeah, we're basically picking up a little bit of power differential here.
Yep.
Losing it up top. It might have knocked or something. We'll have to take a look in the log. But yeah,
Not bad.
not
Basically,
bad.
Righty, we are on revision 6. Still shooting for 250 wheel horsepower. That's the goal this time, since we've already eclipsed the 300 pound-feet. So here we go.
Don't think that was it.
we're gonna give it another go. It spun that time towards the top. Still managed to make 3 10 pound-feet of torque, but we want to hit that 250